Good morning, happy Friday, everyone. Well, I guess there really is no easier way to start this than by going over my low behind my act of kindness. I say that because of what my low is. Because it was exactly 1 year ago yesterday that my grandmother had died. And funny enough, we had the exact same weather yesterday as you did the day she died. It rained. It rained all day. It really is kind of hard to imagine just that it's been a year already since her passing. And, there's moments in your life that, whether you like it or not, they're going to live rent-free in your head forever. Sorry, I need my shoes on, by the way. And for me, it was that last image of my grandfather giving my grandmother a kiss goodbye. Because that's going to live rent-free in my head forever. The one bright side from it all is, and keep in mind, this really could apply to any kind of loss, whether it's a family member, friend, loved one, even a pet. It allows you for the opportunity to really be thankful that they, whether it, again, was, a friend, family member, pet, whatever, was a part of your life, or were a part of your life. And also, sharing your feelings and talking about your feelings really is among the best medicine there is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was sad, but it was never debilitatingly depressing sad. But I at least acknowledge that I would always have the option. So, no matter what time of year it is, if you're going through some loss, please know that you're not alone. The only advice I really can give you is exactly what I gave when Tally Sutton passed back in February. Is to keep moving forward and make sure that everyone else in your life around you is doing okay. And I would say for the most part, my family is holding up okay. In fact, I'll be honest, it wasn't until, mid-afternoon when I realized it really was a year to the day that my grandmother died. I mean, one would almost think it was a pretty solid day overall. And it was a solid day overall. I mean, my high is I got to try to go to a Cousin's Maine Lobster again. Although, I had to wait out in the cold, freezing rain in line for my order, which I was there for easily 45 minutes. Because, I get there, I'm thinking, okay, how bad could the line be, especially given the weather that we got? And, no, it was actually, here's the thing. It was long in terms of, what two people running a food truck have to do. Thankfully, though, I was at, the tail end of said line. And even though we all had to wait for our food, as soon as they started serving one person, it really kept going pretty quick. So, that was good. Although it was funny because we were all huddled up in the area in front of the truck. Anyone who was showing up was convinced we were all still waiting in line, when we had to remind them that everyone here is already ordered. So you can just walk up to the window right now. But it was really good. Got myself the lobster tots and the lobster bisque, which, let me tell you, if you have to wait out in the freezing cold rain for any kind of food truck and they're serving soup of any kind, do yourself a favor and get the soup. Like, in fact, do that. Find the nearest microwave and make it even hotter. Because I tell you what, there really, like, it does seem rather cliche, but it really is true. There really is nothing better than having a hot cup of a lobster bisque after standing outside in the freezing cold rain. And also, because I've been getting the lobster tots every time I've ever gone to Cousins Maine Lobster, this was the best set of lobster tots I ever had. And keep in mind, like, because I was out and about, I had to drive somewhere else after I got my food, I had to drive somewhere else to eat it. So those lobster tots were in their container for a good, I'd say about 10 minutes, give or take. Not long, but everyone who takes food to go knows you got to worry about the steam in the food containers. Everyone knows this. But for the most part, they were still pretty good. I mean, they did lose a little bit of, the tots did lose a little bit of crispness, but this is probably the best lobster meat I've had on their lobster tots since I tried them for the first time. Back in, was it October, November? I can't remember. Point is, they were still really good. And I am absolutely glad I got them. So that was my high. And, what was my act of kindness? Actually, another part of my high is I got to see my nephews, and my act of kindness was to help my mom watch my nephews. So, it was a pretty busy day. Lots of rain. It's not raining right now, thankfully, so that's let up. And I suppose it's enough beating around the bush. I have hot ones to talk about, don't I? Okay, so here's the thing. At this moment in time, I do not know if yesterday's episode was the season 26 finale. Now, this was the 12th episode of season 26, and usually that signifies a season finale. But, because usually when it's a season finale, Sean Evans, in the intro, will say, and to close out season, whatever number it is, we have, whoever the guest is. So basically when Sean Evans says that, that is the season finale. But, and this isn't the first time Sean's done this either. He didn't say, like, if this was the season finale or not. Like, I'm looking around like, is it the season finale? I mean, it could be. I mean, here's the thing. If nothing else, I can say that if this was, in fact, the season finale, it was a fantastic episode to end season 26 on. Really and truly. I had a lot of fun. It was Will Forte, and I learned a lot about him. I mean, yeah, everyone knows him for, you know, Nick Gruber and some of his other movie roles. But you actually learn a little bit about who he is a little bit before and, you know, what his life is like. And you can say that for a lot of Hot Ones guests, but... And that's the beauty of, like, when I do the reactions to who the guest is on Tuesday and then talk about the episode on Friday. Because, again, if it's someone I don't know, then that gives me an opportunity to learn more about them. If it's someone I do know, then not only is it someone that, not only do I get to learn more about them, but what I previously knew about them kind of changes a little. Like, for example, I actually had no idea Will Forte was a writer for that 70s show before he went on to perform on SNL. I had no idea. That was literally the first question Sean asked. Like, he was a writer for shows like that 70s show, and then he went on to do SNL. For that matter, I actually had no idea he was on SNL. I mean, good Lord, just about everybody's done SNL for a few years. And they talked about like him writing skits, like skits that work for him, like trying to translate the like, because when you, and they talked about something really good. If you're writing a skit or really writing anything at all, and you're trying to make it sound funny, and it doesn't need to apply to comedy. It could be horror or romance, or if you're trying to write a scene, try to think of what it looks like in your head and how it could be interpreted by others. And, I mean, eventually, like writing, like all forms of writing, you're going to have a few drafts. You're going to have to really think over, like, okay, how does this work? How can I change that from what I said earlier? Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And it was very clear that Will Forte has a passion for what he does. I mean, you can say that on a lot of celebrities, but, like, I don't want to say that his passion for it is palpable because I don't think it's quite that extreme of a word, but I really can't think of a word that's better. Anyway, let's move on. He talked about how he actually did meet Sean Evans once at a benefit that was going on in KC and Kansas City for like a baseball game or something like that, like a benefit baseball game or whatever for the Kansas City Royals. And this should be a great time because he had the hot wings and then he went to the bathroom. Folks, I'm not going to finish what happens there because I think you can piece together what wound up happening. This is a friendly reminder to all of you that if you do ever deal with spicy food, even if it's something as relatively mild as a jalapeno, wash your hands. Thank you. He talked about the most deflating note that he ever got while doing The Last Man on Earth, which was like doing a take and he thought he did it perfectly, but someone said, you should do it with a smile on your face, even though the scene didn't call for it. He talked about almost getting electrocuted while working on The Brothers Solomon. I mean, I just mentioned MacGruber earlier, and it was funny. Sean Evans mentioned that, I forget what magazine referred to MacGruber as, but it was like the second biggest flop of 2010. And then Will Forte's like he's proud of it, which listen, obviously I wouldn't mind being in a movie someday. Obviously I wouldn't mind doing voiceover acting someday. I wouldn't mind being more in the entertainment industry. Of course I would. But I really would be worried about like making a flop. Especially when I know at least I would try doing all I could to make it good. And with MacGruber, and this is what Will Forte said, like, at the end of the day, Will Forte and the team behind MacGruber made the movie that they wanted to make, down to what they wanted. What more can you ask for? So rather than worry about what people say, be proud of it. Which is actually a rather poignant lesson in life in general. I mean, you can really say, you don't even need to apply that to movies either. You can apply that to just yourself. You know, not everybody's going to like you. Not everyone's going to think you're cool. I mean, it's a big world out there. Like, you have a planet filled with 8 billion people. Newsflash. Someone among those people are not going to like you. The vast majority of them won't even know who you are. And that's okay. I mean, just, accept the people in your life who care. And you know what? It's what Dr. Seuss said. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. That's the best way to shorten it up. They talked about unlocking the confidence to commit to a role no matter how crazy it is. They talked about the one time he went day drinking with Seth Meyers. Apparently, Will Forte also has the 29th all-time highest score on Donkey Kong. Like, of all time. I actually had no idea they kept track of that thing. I mean, I played Donkey Kong before, but, you know, I never paid attention to what score is what the scores are. Okay, now, I can't really talk about this next wing without talking about a little bit of, I mean, I share the story every year in December, but for those of you who don't know, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I did contemplate suicide. Bear with me. I swear this is going to be, this has a happy ending. Sean asked Will Forte what the worst prank he's ever played on, ever played on his parents, and right away Will Forte, like, there was a sound of regret. He said, man, I regret it to this day. I should never have done that. And he pretended he was dead. Now, I don't think I need to tell all of you that life is precious. And by the way, like, I'm not mad at Will Forte for what, I mean, Will Forte even admitted that he never should have done it. Like, and that's the thing, like, life is precious. Even if you're, like, if you're going to play a joke on someone, and Will Forte mentioned this too, like, there really is such a thing as taking things too far. I mean, granted, there's a lot of trial, but it's a delicate balancing act, for the most part. You know, you gotta, like, you do need to push the envelope a little bit to see what works, but along the way, you might actually offend somebody. So it's kind of hard to find that balance. Now, again, as someone who did contemplate suicide once, and by the way, I'm over it. I've been over it for years. Just know that life is precious. There will always be people that you've met in life who do care, even if it may not seem like it. You really do have a lot to live for. Again, life is beautiful. I already said that. And if nothing else, if you really are feeling bad, it's like I just said earlier, you know, sharing your feelings really is among the best medicine there is. So please go talk to someone if you feel even a little bit bad. But that's just me. At the end of the day, the lesson from this ninth wing is comedy should never be used to hurt people too much. There are, like, listen, there is always going to be, like, one of the key ingredients for comedy will always be an element of suffering. Everyone knows this. And if you don't, now you do. But again, there are limits. Just don't take it too far. Okay, here we go. And for the last wing, Will Forte had to spell the word habanero. Which, you know what? He spelled something. Again, if this was the last episode of season 26, I've got nothing to complain about. I think it was a very good episode. I think it was the proper way to end season 26. You know, 10 years being on the internet. Congratulations to Sean Evans, Chris Schoenberger, camera guy Bill, and everyone else who works on Hot Ones. I hope this video finds you well. I mean, watch. I'm sure there's probably going to be another guest next week. I mean, obviously, I'm going to look to see next Tuesday. But again, if this is the finale of season 26, it was a fine finale to go out on. If for whatever reason this was your first season of Hot Ones ever that you've watched, then I envy you. Because this was a very, very good season overall. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy the day. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to, I'm always going to be here to lend you all your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.